So it's there in the One Wales document for the Assembly government, and it's there as an expression of rights, really, around people's rights for homes and expressed in the nature of communities. So it was really good news, I think, that the piece of work that I'm chairing along with Peter Williams, who many of you will know was in Cardiff for many years in the Department of City and Regional Planning, leading on housing. He's been Council of Mortgage Lenders for many years. He's a chair of a major housing association in England. And the other person, Bob Smith, who again many of you will know, has worked very hard in housing from an academic, but as a practical academic. Bob is a housing association member. The three of us, alongside the wonderful Lisa Dobbins, who's sitting down there, the four of us have been, over the past sort of couple of months, been trying to look at some of the issues that were set out. Many of you I've met in previous meetings and occasions will know what the terms of reference are, but again, I think maybe if I just pick a couple of things out for you. It was essentially a Nick, where is Nick? He's there. You can blame Nick. You can blame Nick for everything, actually, if you don't realise that. You can blame Nick for everything. Nick came up with the need and set out some views of what was needed in terms of a regulatory review for housing associations. But actually that developed into a bit more in terms of reference. So a large drift of what we're doing is around housing regulations. But there were some other things that the Minister added in. It was around how we found more private investment, how we deal with increasing environmental standards, how we can use what we developed in the Assembly called the Making the Connections agenda, that's working across sectoral and geographical boundaries, whether we could look at partial stock transfer, whether we could look at the nature of a single tenure, more flexible approach to that, and indeed, basically a clause that says anything else that you want to think of, look as well. So what's inevitably happened over that time is that the work we've been doing, yes, has concentrated around regulation of RSLs. Well, I'm going to say housing associations, all right, because RSLs is a horrible term, isn't it? Housing associations, but actually is looking much broader than that. And I'm really glad about that because I wanted to stress from my own personal point of view that the job that we've got around housing is much wider than looking at the regulations that you work on. What we really need to do to transform where we're going in housing is to see whether the whole regime is, in that lovely phrase, fit for purpose, if it actually matches where we need to go to. So you define where you want to go to and then say, is everything, other pieces of the jigsaw in place to do that? And it is one of the key pieces of the jigsaw are yourselves and the organisations that you represent. Because it's undoubtedly true that if we're going to stand any hope of actually meeting targets which are perhaps on the low side for affordable housing that's set in One Wales, the housing association movement needs to play a very, very key role. And I would suggest not just in terms of building those houses and those flats and those supported housing units, but in that other sense of the word, in terms of being part of the community, in terms of playing that wider role in regeneration, that wider role in working on health, that wider role in delivering on the environmental and sustainable objectives. So you as organisations and board members can see where you fit in to that total picture of where we're going, which is about working with local authorities, which is about working with private lenders, which is about working with private owners at times when you're looking at dealing. That was certainly about working with health and other people. You can see where you fit in, and you can actually feel, I hope, that you are key partners in that drive for delivery of affordable housing and the wider agenda around housing. And what's emerging from our study so far, we've only been going since October, well, I've been going since October, 2 days a week, I think, should have been 2 days a week, with Bob and Peter coming a bit later. there's that we now have a major opportunity through this piece of work that we're doing, but in concert with the work that Paul's doing, in concert with some of the other wider thinking, we've got a real opportunity to position housing in the place it should be, and a real opportunity to put in place all the bits of the jigsaw that we need to take it forward. So if we concentrate a little bit on you now, on what's emerging from what we've found talking to your organisations and others, I think it's pretty clear that there is huge support for giving the housing association movement more freedom in terms of releasing you from some of the regulations that seem, well, if I put it politely, over-restrictive. I could put it less politely than that, but the kind of regulations that are really holding you back from delivering on some of those key agendas that we need to deliver for him well. So particularly around the social enterprise model, the opportunities and the ability that you have to be creative, to connect and make those links with others. It would seem clear to me there are many regulations there that don't really allow you to do that in the way that you want to do. That means really, it's like a parent, I think, from the Assembly government. You know, if you're a parent, your initial reaction is to hold your child's hand and everything. Don't do that, you know, that's dangerous, don't move there, don't that. But actually, we all know as parents, what you have to do is give a bit of guidance and framework, but let that child start walking on their own, because if they don't, they will never grow and they'll never extend. And I kind of feel that that's kind of been perhaps the relationship from the Assembly, with the best will in the world, as no one has bad motives there. They've tried to hold on to you too much and not giving you that freedom to go and be creative. So when we've been looking at the regulations, the views that have been coming back, other than a very limited few, is that yes, this is the right time to actually give you some of those freedoms that you want, and freedoms that you need to work in a more creative and innovative and integrated way.